You know, I love productivity videos because I feel productive afterwards, even though I haven't done anything yet. I never thought about my productivity. I just did it when I had to do it, and didn't do it when I could not do it. And that's how it is in life. As in all the problems that people make up for themselves to make life more fun, their laziness, they see the threshold and fight it with so-called productivity rules. Treat the symptoms, not the disease itself, which is exactly how you won't be able to play the productivity game. Long you know, hours won't get away from us. I'm a lazy person. I don't know about you, but I'm a cave. I never understood why everyone is so intent on becoming more productive. It would be one thing if these people had goals worth being productive for. You know, I was having a conversation with one of these cult members, and I was asking him, "What are you getting up for?" "You neglect human pleasures early, and you drink matcha." And he looked at me as he always does. Sectarians look at people who refuse to kiss Frank's ass. You know, those people who suddenly decide that they are the ones who live right, and it is their God of truth. And the rest of us are clean. So massive and with that kind of expression, he says, "Well, actually, to be productive, I'm like truth," Pyroman asked. "What's the next thing?" he replied. "Well, being productive helps me do more useful things in a day." Well, it sounds logical in principle, but until we remember that life is made up of endless grind, and that the goal of these types is to grind even more than necessary to free up time for even more grind, and I ask him, "Well, it turns out since you're productive, you're spending time on work and self-development, so you have a purpose?" "Right," he answers confidently. "Yeah, well, that makes sense. Because it's the purpose that can be the indicator of your work that you've become productive for." And then he gives out, "To become rich and live the life I want to live." If you have decided to think about your productivity, discipline, and other kinds of masochism, I am also periodically fond of such practices. It really helps if you know what exactly you need to add or remove from your life in this or that situation without fanaticism and renunciation of your being. Then all kinds of regimes make sense. Recently, I've completely derailed my sleep regimen, you know, when there are no specific goals. All this shamanism with cold showers, getting up at sunrise, and self-deception just doesn't make sense. If your productivity is aimless, how is it better than inactivity, which is also aimless? Productive and unproductive lifestyles without purpose differ only in appearance, and so it's the same thing. Like Nephros and bulls to some, to see the world without stupid beliefs prevents the visor, others bangs. Essentially, productive and unproductive people without goals are traveling down the same path. It's just that the productive ones are running on scattered Lego constructs while taking off their sneakers. What do the productive types usually do there? Get up on a schedule, exercise, then work, eat on a schedule, rest on a schedule, with separate time for books and other entertainment no more than 2 hours a day. Of course, however, the usual firestorm, in places not so remote. So there are supervisors there too who will keep a close eye on making sure everything goes according to schedule, and no women to keep you from abstinence. It's a productive life. I'm wildly successful at it. All of North Korea lives productively without the distractions of TikTok, YouTube, Coke, and freedom of choice. I don't think lying in the hospital you're 100-something years before your flight will make you cry, retch, and say, "Here's cool." I've spent my whole life on meaningless grint and restricting myself from everything that brought me pleasure, only to eventually realize that there's no turning back time, backwards. And even if you take productivity as a brand that we're sold, just look at them. You really want to be like them, who even go to the bathroom on a schedule so you don't waste your precious time, which could have been spent learning another language. Productivity for the sake of self-satisfaction productivity, not otherwise. Just a person who has a goal and this goal is worth to him. Priority will go to it, and without a bunch of far-fetched rules like, yes, I would have become a millionaire a long time ago. It's just that I am hampered by TikTok, in which I am stuck. Remove TikTok, there will be YouTube. Remove YouTube, there will be games. Remove all kinds of entertainment. A person will just lie there and spit at the ceiling. It's the same thing as blaming alcoholism on the alco markets. After all, even during Prohibition, people drank alcohol, cologne, moonshine, and other elite drinks. If a man has a goal, he'll find something to get high on. Your laziness is in your head, not in the surrounding circumstances. So all these rules about a dedicated workspace, internet restrictions, and daily plans sound like nonsense to me. Let's be clear. Those who've run their own businesses know that it's a non-linear journey with unpredictable gameplay. Schedules and plans often go out the window. One day you might wake up at 5 a.m., and the next day you fall asleep at 5 a.m. It's so random that working hard without sleep and rest can be productive, but it leads to a poor quality of life. Before you start anything, think about what it means for you. Do you want to live this way? Is there a real benefit to these actions in a diverse world? Do you want to follow a predetermined template for your life like in an open-world game? I personally don't see anything wrong with plans and routines as long as they're not overly rigid. I plug in and work when needed. When I'm tired, I rest without unnecessary schemes. I live life the way I like, choosing not to restrict myself forcibly. In this constant race against time where there are no winners, I try to remove restrictions and not deny myself laziness. I sleep and eat what I want, refusing to be controlled by my weaknesses. Productivity built on self-deception is meaningless and can lead to a loss of purpose. The most productive workers in Japan may excel, but they also have a high number of people who couldn't bear it and decided to escape, regardless of money and success. It's not worth sacrificing your freedom, no matter how successful someone else appears. Know this, and nothing is true. It's all about finding happiness. No matter what anyone says, do what makes you happy. Life is too short to waste on things you don't enjoy.